l'Institut marocain de normalisation IMANOR autour de la normalisation et de la labellisation halal, les challenges, les réalisations et les perspectives. Et aussi, en complément de cette présentation, on aura le plaisir d'avoir le docteur Saïd Gmouh du laboratoire LC2A qui va nous présenter donc comment sont réalisées les activités d'évaluation de la conformité dans le processus de labellisation halal. On a aussi deux présentations d'entreprises marocaines qui vont nous présenter les opportunités qui sont offertes par le marché halal pour les entreprises africaines et spécifiquement le cas des entreprises marocaines. Qui seront présentées respectivement par le président du club halal, Monsieur Adnan Al-Guidari, président du club halal dans l'association marocaine des exportateurs, connu sous le nom ASMEX. Et aussi, on a le plaisir d'avoir le directeur export de l'entreprise Cosumar, qui va nous parler de son expérience dans le marché halal. Ensuite, on aura la présentation de Monsieur Walid Khalid Al-Dawahi, qui est le responsable d'évaluation de la conformité dans le centre Saudi Halal, qui va nous présenter une présentation autour du thème de l'industrie halal et l'industrialisation en Afrique. L'évaluation de l'industrie halal au-delà de l'orientation traditionnelle de l'alimentation sous l'influence de l'industrialisation et de la mondialisation. Quelles sont les opportunités et les défis de l'économie halal, ainsi que les initiatives et l'expérience du SASO. Et enfin, on finira par l'intervention de Monsieur le secrétaire général du SMIC, Monsieur Ihsan Obu, qui va nous présenter une présentation autour du thème de la journée mondiale des normes halal, comment exploiter le pouvoir des collaborations et des partenariats pour aider à unifier les normes halal en Afrique et dans le monde. Donc, comme vous pouvez le voir, on a un programme très riche. On est impatient de commencer les présentations en commençant par celle de Monsieur Philippe Okongo, représentant du secrétariat central de l'ARSO. Monsieur Okongo, vous avez la parole. Monsieur Okongo, vous avez 10 à 15 minutes pour dérouler votre présentation. Merci.
Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity once more from here, ASO Central Secretariat, to have this 51st ASO, the 51st session of the ASO monthly webinar series co-hosted by Imanor and Morocco. As you can see, the theme is about halal industry, trade and standardization. My presentation on halal standardization, bringing together the realms of halal and standardization in promoting sustainable development of the halal in Africa and globally, mainly focusing on the status of halal, whether standardization is okay, the need for standardization, and also the factors that are influencing the development of the halal industry, the position in Africa, globally, and also vis-a-vis the role of ASO. So it's my pleasure. We go into the presentations. For those who are not very much familiar with ASO, ASO is an intergovernmental organization founded by our mandate, and you realize that collectively, if we come together under the AfCFTA, which currently has been ratified by 48. I have to update this, 48 African countries, and almost of them, 38 of them are ASO members. That gives us a great opportunity to harmonize the regulatory framework in Africa, which is the mandate of ASO. And that one now falls also squarely on the need to harmonize and develop standards for the halal industry. And you can see that in most of the ASO memberships, we have very many Muslim countries where halal products and services are also needed, and where we need standards and conformity assessment systems. These are our programs currently: standards harmonization, conformity assessment, the issues of e-learning, capacity build training, the issue of information sharing, and of course not leaving the consumers out of this. And you know, in Africa now we have so many consumers of the halal products. And then policy support and regulations and guidelines are also important. And in this case, going forward, we need policies and guidelines that also promote the halal industry in Africa. So the word halal, it's my pleasure that we have Emmanuel here. We have experts who will explain more so about what halal is, but it comes from the Arabic name. And is saying it's allowed, it's permissible according to the Islamic law. It means what is lawful, what conforms to the standards and the expectations as far as the Islamic courts are concerned. Studies also indicate that it is currently evolving and getting out of just within the Islamic square. So we are having producers, consumers, and certifying authorities which are also extending beyond the Muslim population. And this is where we need standardization to ensure that as we process, as we have the halal markets in the products and the halal services in the products, they conform to the expectations of the halal certification and standard systems. So we have to ensure that the handling of the entire production systems, that is products from the ingredients, should be certified as per the halal regulations, including packaging, marketing, manufacturing, logistics, supply, because we know that since we have consumers, producers, and certifying authorities who are now also outside the Muslim outside the Muslim territory, we need to have a system that ensures that the products are safe and the products comply to the halal expectations. This is the halal industry. Generally, it was food, but it has now grown out, and we have so many things like halal medicine, vaccine, halal animal feed, the issues of hotel. Globally, you will see that halal industry is completely growing, and if you look at the statistics, is showing that the Muslim population currently at 1.8 and almost joining 2.2 billion Muslim worldwide. And this one now tells us that we need more of halal products certified. A study which was done by Thomson Reuters is showing that there is burgeoning of the halal economy, and this one is growing. And if you can see, 2021, it was at US dollars 4.8 trillion, but this one is expected to grow within this year, 2025, to US dollars 6,854. If you look at the situation also, there is a gap of 80% between the demand and the production, which means therefore that there is need for more certified halal products within the market to meet the consumer needs. And as you can see also within the table, the Muslim population is growing. This is just the sectors where we have the halal products. We have the food, and you can see the indications how it has been moving 2020 to 2025, the expectations, the Islamic banking and finance, and how it is growing, travel and tourism, model fashion, media and recreation, halal pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics. It is being said that the halal industry is expanding, and it is going beyond the food sector, and there is a lot of demand, that 80% gap as highlighted here. And also you realize that there is the aspect of sustainability, ethical consumption, green growth, and digitalization, which is also coming in. So the issues of standardization certification are becoming handy to ensure that we meet the demand and the market with certified goods, good of quality, and that comply to the standardization or the standards that are needed. What are the factors that are driving the global halal industry? Of course, the increasing Muslim population, because if you can see 2.2 billion people, that one is a huge market. So there must be products to fulfill the needs of this population. And also, it is also said that there are also non-Muslims who are also using halal, the halal products. Then there's a rising demand of certified halal products. Customers are increasingly seeking out products that meet their standards and expectations. This has led to emergence of many certification bodies and halal product labels. Then the growing awareness in terms of health and wellness. People are turning to these alternative health issues. So there is need and there is demand for certified halal products. The upsurge of Muslim-friendly tourism, and of course this one also will, because every part of the world, there should therefore be the halal industry that meets the demands of the travelers. Benefits of halal certification cannot be really be overemphasized. It is already there. So, sorry, I'm having a problem here with my system. We have the factors, diversification of the global halal supply chain. The industry is expanding, and then the chain is expected to be having certified ingredients and materials within the international market. And then the issues of domination of food tech within the halal industry, which means the products can be received from different parts of sources. Then the rise of transparency and sustainability, and the issues of food safety concerns, which are fueling the growth of the halal industry. Then in Africa, also because you know that there are so many Muslims also within the African continent, so there is the growth also which is happening in Africa in terms of halal industry. But at the moment, it is said that it is mostly untapped, and it is still very much largely informal. And there is expectations that with the expectations within the AfCFTA agreement and the opportunities, there is need. And also given that the Africa has got several resources in terms of animals, in terms of products, there is need to translate this market in Africa into an export zone, focusing on export missions, and effective regulatory framework will be needed. Also, there are so many SMEs within the halal systems in Africa who needs to be boosted. So this one is already attracting, as we can see, as we shall see shortly, the trade experts, policymakers, leaders, and standardization stakeholders on the need to have effective regulatory framework for the halal systems in Africa. So the halal system in Africa must therefore aspire to formulate strategic policy and monitoring, certification, enhancement, enforcement, standardization, development, traceability, industry development, and entrepreneurial culture. So we need to support this by robust standard accreditation and certification services. This is about quality infrastructure, and you can see that several countries, and we are glad that we have Morocco as co-hosting this webinar, and we have many of them as panelists, so that we can see what is already going on in the countries. But we have Morocco, Sudan, Egypt, Somalia, Togo, and Nigeria that is giving us the opportunity to ensure that the halal production in Africa, or the halal industry in Africa, is okay. We have the AfCFTA opportunities. I will not go through them one by one, but the opportunities here is that we have a single market, a bigger population, and where the non-tariff barriers are being harmonized within the AfCFTA, TBT Annex 6 and the SPS Annex 7. So all these opportunities will give us the opportunity to maximize the halal industry and ensure that the SMEs also benefit from the AfCFTA opportunity. In response to this, there is need for a greater halal regulatory framework within Africa. But of course, you also know that the regulatory framework in Africa is variant depending on regional economic communities and countries. So the need for a common regulatory framework that is strengthened and internationalized within the halal ecosystem and the quality infrastructure system is needed so much in Africa. The halal standardization and certification is required as a condition for importation and trade of halal goods and services to meet the markets. This is of interest to us and the National Bureau of Standards, and we are glad that the IMANOR as a national standards body is here and already doing a lot in this area. And this one requires a coordinated approach, collaborations among ASO members and the international organizations. Already you can see here, we are involved the AfCFTA, we have our Secretary General discussing with the ISO Secretary General on various issues. And this one is making sure that at the regional level, continental level, international level, the expectations of the African regulatory frameworks are met and also switch the best international regulatory frameworks or expectations. These are some of the initiatives that are happening. There's a lot of awareness creation. Way back in 2019, as you can see, we had the Director General of ESMA who highlighted the need for halal trade industry in Africa and the need to involve the SMEC or do their capacity building. Recently, when we were at the Morocco, Casablanca, during the 71st ASO Council meeting, we are glad that Mr. Taibi, the Director General of IMANOR, made a presentation to the Council members on the benefits of halal industries to the African industrialization and sustainable development and the need for common regulatory framework, development of standards and certification systems. Here is Mr. Taibi doing the presentations. On the same note, we also wishes to highlight that already based on the request from Morocco, IMANOR, on the need to have a new technical harmonization committee or technical committee, the 71st Council approved the request that was made by Morocco to establish this technical committee. And this technical committee, the main scope is to facilitate through the African experts the development and harmonization of African standards, conformity assessment, capacity building, and all the regulatory issues that will facilitate the development of the halal industry in Africa. The issues of mutual recognition are also highlighted here. You can see also we are reaching out to the international community, the regional community, and our Secretary General on 13th November signed an agreement with the SASO, which partly is also to develop the halal industry, this one during the SMEC General Assembly. And of course, SMEC has already, and we are also collaborating, and I'm glad that we have the Secretary General of SMEC here today, who will also tell us much about the SMEC initiatives. It's one of the best organizations that is championing the halal industry and the halal regulatory framework. As you can see here, it's called the World Halal Day, arising from the efforts of SMEC. So it is a great opportunity, and we are glad that we are participating. The Secretary General also shared his views during the 19th SMEC General Assembly, including the need to have increased collaboration in the issues like halal. So going forward, to fulfill this 80% gap between demand and production, and to strengthen the African halal industry, we propose, these are just recommendations, and